Milo keeps calling for more. Bigger ski trips, longer business trips, nicer cars, newer kitchens. Milo's paycheck feeds all of this, but Milo's gut starts to feel funny as he begins to plan the next big vacation. Instead of being thrilled at pictures of last year's ski trip, he's haunted by it. He envisions photos in the future that might not include Libby. I'm going to make myself cry. He sits quietly, ignoring all of the trains in motion. He pulls out a blank white paper and begins to visualize one day that would feel good. One day that would feel good despite little Libby's death sentence. His hand draws the image of the family on a farm. His pencil sketches out you can expose all the truths in one fell swoop. This is a good experiment as part of KindEdge.com. Think about creating space in your life by living on cash. This is the hardcore get her done shortcut to slay every truth, from the truths about silent agreements in your marriage, to the truth about your emotional hooks on image, to the truth about what your intuition is calling you to do. Few are willing to go all the way, but it is absolutely the fast path that rips off all band-aids quickly and spits you out on the other side of the pain cave. The fast track is living on cash. Your mind's attachment to the future unravels as you downgrade your luxury vehicle to a car that fits your cash life. Your protective veneer dissolves as you and the kids pack up boxes to move to a home that fits the soul and functional needs of your family and nothing more. These choices are tough, but the conversations they generate are rich and deliver outer limits clarity on purpose. Time is the arena in which your intuition thrives. In a cash life, today is no longer a series of trains in motion that will leave with or without you, meaning a mortgage, a bank, the next bill coming. Today, if you're living on cash, becomes a fertile space in which your intuition has flexibility to play. Movie producers have stated that their worst films were born of limitless budgets, and their best, most unique and creative productions grew from tiny budgets and scrappy solutions. Give this idea a taste test in a KindEdge.com safe mode. This mapping exercise guides you into documenting every pixel of your life now and drawing a line to a cash-only life to get a clear visual on what elements are your true immediate priority. So that's another exercise you can do on KindEdge.com. Getting to the other side of the pain cave. Milo. Here's what a journey through the pain cave might look like for a fictional man named Milo. Let's say deep in Milo's psyche, he carries this unspoken story, I'm safe because I have achieved success, which in my programming is defined by a 1% lifestyle that places me far outside the realm of fear and difficult choices about money. All that news about economic downturns on the horizon can't touch me. For Milo, this works great for decades. He receives accolades from the father he is programmed to please. He never digs deep into why finances are his father's only metric for success. He never grows on an adult-to-adult compassionate view of his father and his deep need to hide his shame over having grown up poor. Milo rides along, gaining approval and perceiving himself as immune from trouble. He promotes his social image through visible charitable donations, expensive vacations with a group of families from his kids' private school, and so on. His third child, Libby, is born with cystic fibrosis, made more severe due to a deformity in one lung. She is not likely to live past the age of 16. Expert care keeps their lives running normally. A few pills per day and daily chest vibration therapy enables the family to maintain their normal activities. A few years go by, and Milo heads off to work each day as usual. He travels to fintech expos around the world and returns to his kids with baubles and gifts from his travels to Singapore, Germany, London, and India. The world around Milo keeps calling for more. Bigger ski trips, longer business trips, nicer cars, newer kitchens. Milo's paycheck feeds all of this, but Milo's gut starts to feel funny as he begins to plan the next big vacation. Instead of being thrilled at pictures of last year's ski trip, he's haunted by it. He envisions photos in the future that might not include Libby. I'm going to make myself cry. He sits quietly, ignoring all of the trains in motion. He pulls out a blank white paper and begins to visualize one day that would feel good. One day that would feel good despite little Libby's death sentence. His hand draws the image of the family on a farm. His pencil sketches out a horizon, a barn, an open space. He envisions the simplicity of pulling eggs and fresh bread out of the refrigerator in the morning, watching Libby eat warm buttered toast. He sits with this image for weeks. When in line to board planes at the airport, he can close his eyes, and this is all he sees. He loses any joy or zing in receiving bonuses and promotions. They are beginning to feel suffocating. The world keeps applauding, but the world does not know him anymore. He feels controlled by his success rather than uplifted by it. He recognizes he's trapped in the show. He swallows this uncomfortable truth. The currency on which his life was built has lost its value. But through deep reflection and fierce fatherly love, he grows the strength to look vulnerable and lives in full view to all, making difficult choices versus having it all. He and his wife finally choose to redesign their entire financial lives to create a life where time was the only priority. At first, explaining this to their network and peers was difficult. However, as they felt the joy of living in flow with their family's needs, they grew a muscle for change and became less fragile and truly unbreakable. The parts of their lives that they lost turned out to be incredibly unimportant. Milo's father insisted that Milo could have continued his lucrative financial career and was just using his daughter's illness as an excuse to check out. And Milo continues to work with his therapist to feel okay about putting his father's opinions on a far outer orbit of his life. But the show no longer controlled him, and his intuition delivered infinite rewards. That was Milo. Now we'll go to Sasha. Now let's look at a second fictional example. Sasha. When Sasha looks into the mirror, she sees someone who is safe because she is an active member of the social justice warrior underdog team. Fingers can never be pointed in her direction, and she is buttressed by an infinite tribe. Growing up, Sasha felt the shame of wealth in her parents' daily rhetoric. They shared righteous disdain for anyone with assets or luxuries who engaged in conspicuous consumption of frivolous products like organic almond butter or brand name shoes. Sasha grew up believing it was unsafe to make money and enjoy luxuries. She dedicated her entire youth to acquiring an education on issues aligned with social justice. She was 32 when she popped her head out of her second PhD program and immediately started on an advocacy consulting firm. She was single, childless, and drained, but proudly gave her life to a greater purpose. Her family, her networks, and her social communities were built on agreement around social issues. Her consulting firm thrived as she had demand from both corporate entities and political lobbyist groups to run research programs and events to showcase their support for given social issues. As she took on corporate clients and lobbyist funds, her parents and parts of her network shunned her. There was a rumbling of opinions that she was selling out for profit and that she'd lost her way due to greed. Sasha started to feel ill each time she gained a new corporate client, not because she felt it was wrong, but because she felt so much joy from doing it. She began feeling her self-image detaching from her old clan, and it felt scary. Her intuition was beginning to speak so clearly to her. This was her path. As she grew the business, she worked day and night, but found herself energized, not exhausted. She discovered her passion for entrepreneurial endeavors. From business development to financial management to growth strategy, far exceeded any interest she'd had in social issues. She grew the business by millions of dollars in revenue each year and took on bigger clients than she'd ever thought she could win. And in the end, her spot at the top gave her control to direct some of her profits towards her given causes through donations. Doing this won back some approval from her parents and network. But more importantly, she knew that her path was now the right one, and whoever joined her on that path was welcome. Sarah Hallberg. Sarah Hallberg was a physician in real life. She's passed away, but she was an amazing physician. She was a physician and researcher who dedicated her life to medical science, patient advocacy, and her kids. She lived a purposeful and healthy lifestyle. In her 40s, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and after many highs and lows in her battle, passed away in 2022. The mark she made and the legacy she left for her kids is one of a kind. I encourage you to hear the passion, purpose, and in real life mindset she valiantly exhibited until her absolute last days. And I didn't link to her book, but I've got her book here as well. The key is her first degree and career were in fitness. It was only when her intuition called her to be a voice amongst doctors and PhD researchers who were blind to her insights that she pivoted, that she finally pivoted. She followed her intuition and pursued a medical degree. Through her research, patient work, leadership on boards, and TED Talks, she influenced doctors, patients, and the medical field at large. She moved humanity forward on a metabolic health, and her kids attested to their pride in her purposeful life. That is the power of tapping into your intuition. That is being prepared to die.